Hey guys, Greg here at the Vinyl Rundown. This is a thread about illustrated album covers. This thread was started by Rob Walker, our best man out in the UK, Mr. Born to be Mild himself. Great idea for a thread talking about the illustrations on album covers. Not photographs, not paintings, but the illustrators. Some of them are the great unsung hero of pop culture. Because when you think about it, some of the illustrations are more famous than the records. I was just thinking about Andy Warhol's Banana cover for Velvet Underground. More people recognize the album cover than have actually sat and listened to the whole record. And with all the records I got laying around my house, I spend more time looking at the covers than listening to them half the time. So give a shout out to the illustrators who've designed some of our greatest album covers. And if you're going to jump on this thread, maybe take the time to learn who the illustrators are and tell us a little bit about them. That's what I'm going to do here today. And I'm going to start with an unusual one. Unusual, Prince, 1999, which actually came out in 1992. There's a lot of great detail on this cover. A lot of people may have missed the name of the band which is on here. Not Prince, but And the Revolution is on there. And buried in there. There's some weird details on here. Teeth. And the Rude Boy, where's that? The Rude Boy button, whatever used to be popular. Anyway, the mystery about this is the illustration is uncredited. Nowhere on the record, nowhere in any of the material does it say who did the illustration. So it's led some people to believe or speculate that Prince himself did the illustration, because back in those days, Prince wanted to be the master of everything. You know, he played every instrument on some of his records and obviously composed the music and did the mastering and the mixing and etc. So maybe this is just part of Prince's whole thing where I do it all. If anybody knows who did this illustration, let us know. Nobody knows. This record is a really interesting illustration. And a lot of the ones I'm going to show today have a lot of detail in them. The more you look at them, the more stuff you're going to find. They Might Be Giants' first album, 1985. And They Might Be Giants was a very artsy band, you know, doing a lot of unconventional stuff. There they are, John and John, the two guys. This illustration is by a guy named Rodney Allen Greenblat. The band contacted him when they were unknown, nothing, before this record came out, and said, would you do a cover for us for free? And he's like, yeah, I guess so. So this is what came out of it. And again, if you look, you can spend hours looking at the detail on these records, but there's a car that says Camaro, you know. So there's this dog, okay, dog chasing some kind of a birthday cake mobile, John and John. There's a drive-through record store here, and a movie theater with aliens and E.T. playing, and a bar called the Sports Hole. I mean, you could go in looking at the detail on this sort of cover, but this guy has done a lot of famous stuff since then. He's done, I think, a video game and a lot of children's stuff. One of the problems when this came out was they thought, oh, this album looks like it's a children's record. Well, it's got a childlike innocence to it. All of their music does. They don't get into the usual sex and drug stuff. They get into different topics, you know, the rabid child, the puppet head. This is where it all started. Rodney Allen Greenblat, whimsyload.com, because his stuff is whimsical. Is it not? It is whimsical. Let's go from the whimsical to the grotesque and bizarre, shall we? What is that? Oh my God, is there enough light in here? Can we even see what the heck I'm doing? Let's get some more light. There's a grotesque face of a Japanese person wrapped in bandages, full of blood, with crabs eating away at it. This is the back of the cover. This is the front of the cover. Naked City by John Zorn. Actual photo of a mafia gangland killing in New York by Ouija, but because we're doing illustrations, we're talking about the illustration on the back here. Now, John Zorn, sort of the godfather, if you will, of the New York underground free jazz scene. And his band Naked City did, I think, 5 albums together. Bill Frisell on guitar, Fred Frith. Oh, Yamatsuka Ai, Japanese guy who just screams his head off. And does, you know, it's like a Yoko Ono style Japanese screamer. The artist on this, let's see if I can get the name right, Suehiro Muaro, but here it's listed as Muaro Suehiro. He's a well-known guy in the manga Japanese culture, and a lot of bizarre stuff, grotesque, controversial. Some of the albums have been banned from some stores. His animated movie that he did was banned in like every country except France, of course. So that's, I can't pronounce the guy's name, Suehiro Muaro. Now we're going to do something weird because we just are. Not an illustration. The Devo record, New Traditionalists, also a Japanese tie-in, because New Traditionalists was the name of a Japanese right-wing political movement that they took the name from, and they thought it would be kind of cool to use that name. We're going to take you into the other room and show you the poster from this record and edit. The poster is a great illustration. Okay, this is the poster that came with the New Traditionalists by Devo. And you got the Devo men there, babies, all the baby colors of the world. And you got this preacher here. Hey, there's a KMAT sticker. So this poster was designed by, it's credited to the Church of the Subgenius, J.R. Bob Dobbs, which is a whole culty, fake religion thing that Mark Mothersbaugh was into. And they're still around. You can still send them the $50 and they'll make you an ordained minister. Okay, we're back, I hope. Back to popular culture, away from jazz. Well, wait, this is a jazz record, and it is on the Verve label. And this is called A Day in the Life, Impressions of Pepper. Did I say Verve? It's on Impulse. Impulse with the orange and the black. Amazing album cover, again, with a lot of detail. Whereas that Japanese guy was all about the grotesque, this Japanese guy is all about psychedelic. So this is a jazz interpretation of Sgt. Pepper. And if you look at it carefully, it's got kind of the same layout as Sgt. Pepper. You got these 4 Beatles in the front. They're actually these weird skull things. And then you've got, 3 rows of a bunch of characters. But the detail on this, you can go in for days checking out all these characters. Okay, who's that? Is that the Jane Mansfield character, maybe? And that's the, what was that, Lumiere brothers with the rocket hitting the moon. And just a ton and ton of detail on this. It just goes on for days and days and days. The artist's name is Keiichi Tanaami. And he did psychedelic stuff going back to the 60s, going back to Jefferson Airplane and the Monkees and other bands. But amazing illustrated detail on here. The back, sort of simplified. A lot of eyeballs, Lucy in the Sky eyeballs. And I mean, I can't even explain half of this stuff. Do you guys understand what the iconography is and the symbolism is behind this stuff? Because it is a total trip. You could spend days trying to figure out what's going on in this guy's head and still not have any idea what's going on in his head. So ECM Records has had long collaborations with a handful of artists. This one, her name is, it's on here. Oh, Barbara Wojirsch, Wojirsch, She did a lot of these hand-drawn pastel and pencil. And this is Pat Metheny Rejoicing, where he does a lot of, a couple of Ornette Coleman tunes. And he's playing with some Ornette Coleman sidemen, Charlie Hayden, Billy Higgins. Let's take it out of the sleeve. This artist did zillions of things for ECM. This is just one I happen to grab. If you look very carefully, it says Pat M. and Charlie H. and Billy H. It's in there. The name of the musicians are hidden in there. Dave Holland and Keith Jarrett and others. So if you have ECM Records, you probably have records by that lady, Barbara something, Wojirsch. Now, I interviewed Tim Byrne on this channel a couple of years ago, and he told me about his collaboration with an artist named Stephen Byram. Again, a lot of the jazz stuff I like is got some sort of chaotic, free expression sort of art. Okay, so this one is Paul Motion's band, Monk in Motion, Joe Lovano, Bill Frisell, Dewey Redman, amazing stuff on the JMT label. And Paul Motion again, the Electric Bebop Band. This is a better representation of Stephen Byram's artwork. A lot of sort of technical drawing, repetition, line art. It's sort of his signature style. One more from this artist. I can't find the Tim Byrne that I wanted to show you. It's around here somewhere. I'll find it as soon as we finish. Excellent depiction of Stephen Byram's art. The lines, the chaos, graphics, technology, organic plus technology stuff mixed in with each other. I dig his style, and he's done a lot of covers for Tim Byrne's stuff that's available on his Bandcamp. I dig this style. You may think it's bizarre. It's okay. Now, last but not least is one of the most famous illustrators in all of jazz, and I have a really rare thing to show you. Do you recognize this art? David Stone Martin, DSM. He signs everything he does DSM. He did tons and tons of jazz stuff in the 40s, 50s, maybe even the 60s. Everything that was associated with Norman Granz. This happens to be Slim and Slam, Slim Gaylord and Slam Stewart on bass. Opera in Voot, is that what it says? Opera in Voot, 1945. This is the original 78 RPM 2-disc set. 2 discs in an album. It's like 12 minutes of music. But DSM, David Stone Martin's signature style was exquisitely fine, minute detail. Look at all the detail, just crazy stuff. There's a gramophone. There's some ladies' fashion things. There's a guy doing something weird. This record cover was sort of redesigned by DSM later for Verve. Same layout, guitar and bass, but Verve came out with this as a record with a compilation of like 25 songs on it, but tons of detail. But you know DSM, David Stone Martin, better for the stuff he did with all the other labels, Norman Granz. So this trumpet design was on zillions of records that Norman Granz produced. So this is the Verve story. This is sort of more typical of his stuff. So he used an ink pen, a quill ink pen, and mega detail on everything. This is the jazz scene, a compilation, Verve, what is this, 3 or 4 discs. Great booklet here. Photography, not illustration. And he did some watercolors later in his career, but so many records of Lester Young, Charlie Parker, Billie Holiday, that came out on Verve were done by DSM, David Stone Martin. Let's see, that's all the illustrators I wanted to show you guys today. Thanks again to Rob Walker for putting this thread together. And Vinyl Richie did a video, and a couple other people. Jump on this thread if you want. Illustrators of vinyl. Give some love to the people who did the actual illustrations that you've been staring at for all these years. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram under Vinyl Rundown. And that's it, guys. Thank you for watching. Have a good one.